please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. It's a weak market, make no mistake about that. The Nifty is now down 59 points and the Bank Nifty is now down 116 points. The mid-cap index already in the red. So advanced decline also now in favor of declines. Ashwani Gujral back with us. So is Mitesh Thakkar and Prakash Kaba also with us in our studios. Ashwani, this is a bad first hour.
I think it's a good first hour because if we went short in the morning, the market is working out, and that was the problem I had early morning, that you can't extrapolate. Friday we went up, so hence we should go up today. The other thing is it creates a trap. Everybody who went long on Friday now gets into trouble. I think what we are seeing clearly is that the Bank Nifty is showing great amount of momentum on the downside. First hour you are down 120. Chances of follow through on the Bank Nifty are high because it was in a narrow range for last couple of days. So if this picks up, given the number of sectors which are in the red, given that market breadth is slowly collapsing, and good news which you had on autos and metals, etc., is not really taking the market higher. I would think the way the Nifty discount is opening up does not bode too well. So my sense is that you should get short on Bank Nifty, Nifty, etc. Individual stocks, Vedanta is a sell with a stop of 236, target of 224. HDFC Bank I would like to sell now. That's a sell with a stop of 2120, target of 2050. Ashok Leyland you can buy, and that is a buy even for a longer term because of the vertical decline. That's a buy with a stop of 127, target of 135. But as the day goes by, people who are long will get further jittery, so this momentum can actually increase, and you could be sitting at 10,550, 600, the lower of the end of the range by the end.
Okay, well, we just have to concentrate on the primary market. Ashwini, let's pull up the listing price of both RITES and Fine Organics. A good listing for both of them under the circumstances. I mean, both very good companies. You will have to say, you can argue about valuations, especially since Fine Organics earnings growth is not actually all that flattering, even if it's a good company. Nevertheless, and 30 times valuations, but still has had a very good listing. And so is RITES, actually still charging up RITES, up 5%. So, I mean, the primary market's not getting bogged down by what is actually a very unkind day to list.
Yes, RITES actually, I mean, I think it's picking up now. It's almost 6% higher. Now. If you look at the valuations also, Anisha had given us that table at about 196 now, or 197. So that's about 11 times FY19 PE. And remember, RITES has had almost a 15% compounded annual growth over the last 3 years. So that's a pretty good listing that RITES has seen. Of course, it's a government company, right?
Yeah, and I think Fine Organic, considering the kind of subscriptions that it had, it will go down as a disappointing listing, frankly. So just about 3.5% higher is what you have on that. Again, my sense is that with this kind of listing, you'll have people just come out and sell, and won't surprise me if this at some point has to get into the red as well.
Yeah, because 9 times over subscription, you would have expected
exactly.
more.
You should have expected more, especially given the H9 subscription. So this, I think, goes down as perhaps a bad listing, actually.
Okay. So also a difficult time and very highly priced, very stiffly priced, I would say. RITES, of course, now still gaining in strength. Okay, that's Interpol issuing a notice against Nirav Modi on charges of money laundering. That's important. That makes extradition that much easier if you can get an Interpol notice. So not a minor news at all for the government, not necessarily markets, economy or banks, but for the government that would be a bit of a victory. Well, let's get back to the markets and they continue to remain under pressure. And just as we speak, now the advanced declines have turned in favor of the declines. Until now, they were still maintaining even keel. But if you pull up the charts now, the decliners are at an advantage by 10:9. So there the lines have crossed.
If you take a look at stocks like Tata Motors, for example, and even Tata Steel, basically the weak stocks where there was any kind of positive news, so the gap up was created, but that's been sold into. So that's Tata Motors already at the intraday low, and Tata Steel as well, both having almost same chart right now. declining lower.
Okay. Well, Tata Steel just about maintaining in the green, both those stocks. Well, let's invite our other guests, Prakash and Mitesh, into the conversation. Mitesh, good morning to you yet again. Anything new? I mean, are you now emboldened to take a long position on the Nifty at all, since it has broken significantly below that 10,680 mark?
No, Lata, I think, we took short below 10,685.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So because I think, I had kept that point or level as the trend decider. I think if you stay below 10,685, 680 zones, then you will be trading with slightly more negative bias. So in that sense, index put options buying is a good idea. And that apart, I have one long and one sell call on the stock side. HDFC Bank, I think I highlighted earlier. Ashwani also mentioned that. It's a sell. If it makes a fresh day low, I think go aggressively short with a stop at 2106 for targets of 2060. And Tata Steel is a buy. Keep a stop loss below 570. So 568 is what I recommend. And look for targets of around 610, 615.
Okay. Prakash Gava is also with us. Prakash, what are your picks for the moment?
My first trade in the short side has worked out, waiting for a rally. If a rally comes in, my short again. I have two stocks, one long, one short. Sun Pharma looks good. Possible target on the upside in the vicinity of 580 is an aggressive call. Stop below 564 should be fine on Sun Pharma. Stocks that look weak, United Spirits looks like it's weak. Can see a slide to around 625 zones, maybe a 2 possible. Stop above 660.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us with your picks. As we were saying, it's a good listing by rights. Rajiv Mehrotra, the Chairman and Managing Director, joins us now. Good morning, Mr. Mehrotra. Thank you very much and congratulations. Great listing. Let's get to some numbers now that you are free to speak. Your revenue growth over the last 3 years has been 15% compounded annually. Give us some indication of what the trend would be going forward.
With the order book of 4,818 crores in hand, we believe that this growth rate can be maintained or accelerated.
Okay, so for FY19, what are we looking at? Can the revenue growth be at least about 15 to 20%?
I think this can be disclosed only after quarterly results. We plan to come out with the quarterly results sometime end of this month. And then we will talk also about the next year's growth.
Fair point, Mr. Mehrotra. But okay, can you speak of historical earnings? Can you break up the revenue mix for us? Also, which area do you think will fetch you growth going forward?
The consulting business would be around 55 to 60%. And the exports and foreign consultancies put together would be around 25%. Rest would be leasing business, power, sale of power and power consultancy, fees through our subsidiary company, Railway Energy Management Company. So predominantly consultancy would continue to give majority of the revenue, followed by exports and turnkey contracts also.
Okay, actually I was coming to exports. How is that business doing? And turnkey business has been actually less profitable versus your other businesses. So what are your plans with respect to turnkey?
First of all, on exports, we have one major export order which is under execution, and we will start shipments by third or fourth quarter of this year. This is an export order of 680 crore rupees. On the turnkey, overall basis, turnkey is about 50% of our order book. This year, if we see only the turnkey portion, which is on nomination, aggregates to 1400 crore rupees. And this would be around 2 to 3 years execution time for the turnkey contracts also.
So your margins have been around 30% over the last few years. Is there a mandated margin that you get to make on these kind of projects? And can you just explain the model to us?
No, there's no mandate for the margins. We have been, maintaining overall margins of 30 to 32%. And of course, with some minor changes, we have been able to maintain this. I see no reason to worry on the margins front. And with the export and other orders very high in the book, there is no reason to believe that this will not be maintained.
What about exports? Are you facing a lot of competition in export orders from, say, countries like China?
Yeah, definitely there is competition in overseas markets from several countries. but we are still able to, get our share of business. The Chinese model of putting financing with their exports or services is definitely a big motivation or incentive for the buyers overseas. We are trying to see to what extent we can make up with financing from India.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about your order inflow. You said it's about 4,800 crore your order book now. Can you give us the split domestic, international and the outlook as well?
The capex is increasing in all the infrastructure segments, whether it is railways, metros, highways, airports, and we are confident that our order book can keep increasing with such investments in the countries, as well as in the countries overseas where we are working. We got a very major export order in Mauritius. We are doing a major metro, 32 kilometers metro project in Mauritius also.
All right. Thanks a lot for joining us, and all the best for the quarters to come. Look at the stock, by the way. It's up almost about 10% right now. And as I said, the fundamentals have been very strong for them over the past 3-4 years, doing quite well. Compounded annual growth of 15% plus. But let's do one thing. Let's take a break. The latest commodity trades are lined up with Manisha Gupta on the other side.